Well, good evening, guys. So this is after work, actually. Uh, so we got it running. Everything's good as far as that goes. Thermostat opens up now. I actually let it sit here the other night, and just let it run for like an hour. And then I was holding the idle at around 1200, 1500 RPMs. It got up to temperature, got up to about 165, and then thermostat opened up and it dropped right down to 140, and then it did that a couple times. So occasionally I'm still going to start it and run through it that way. But anyway, but after work, so now that it's running, to drive it, I obviously have to get the battery mounted in a better situation. And finally, we're on to something more that I enjoy, and that is metal work. So, well, sort of. I got to get the doors to shut, right? So the body line's pretty good, right? But there's no latch or anything in there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put in bear claw latches. Since I don't have any of the mechanisms, well, it's all kind of like rotted, right? So what I'm going to do is I ordered some door handles, and they're from a 32 Ford Roadster. So they're a little bit cooler than what came off it. And plus, when I took this door handle off, I had to cut it off. So I'm expecting I'm going to have to do that to the driver's side. But I'm going to work on the passenger side. One, it's a little easier to record, and two, I've already got it all empty, right? There's no glass, there's no regulator, there's nothing in there except a window track. So let me show you the bear claws. So here's the bear claw latches. So these are not like Altmans or anything like this. I've had these bear claw latches sitting up there in the drawer for probably, I don't know, 3 years now, 2-3 years. I was going to put these in the GMC, but then I decided to go ahead and go with the Altman latches instead. So I just had these sitting up here. I'm like, you know what? I got them. Why not give them a whirl? So right now I just have them. These are 1/4 20s. These are just screws that I had them in there. So obviously these are very custom, meaning these really don't fit anything. So you kind of have to make them fit your application. So that would mean that I got to cut the door. I got to cut the door jamb. And see how that goes as far as fitment, stuff like that. I already noticed one thing when I was looking at them yesterday, because I was just kind of like assessing. I had trying to find these because I knew they were in the drawer. The only problem I'm having is I can't find one of the strikers. I have no idea where I put this striker. The plate I have, the striker I do not, because this, it just unbolts, and this is like what is this, like a 7/16 bolt deal, and then the washer kind of space it out. I know you can get better ones that has a cage nut in the back that you can move around, you know, for adjustment or whatever. But this door shuts pretty. I mean, the body lines are perfect. It's just that the problem is that the lower half of the door is missing, right? So the bottom half of the door is kind of like that. But that I hope that still works. So there's that guy right there. This gets mounted onto the door jamb, right? And then let me set, you know what, let's go over here to the bench. Better than me holding everything. And then here is very basic latch. So it closes. There's actually 2 latches. It goes 1 and then full latch, right? And then this you push down and it opens up. This, and these are 1/4 20s, but let me see. I don't like that. So when you put these in here, now these I got from some hot rod website. Like I said, 3 years ago. They weren't special. I think these were actually like $50. And these are considered the large version. They do have a smaller version. And there's the plate that it goes into. So if you notice right here, I actually had to open this up so this would work, right? Because before, when you put it in, that's as far as it could go because it was hitting the plate back there. It couldn't go all the way in. Now it does. Let me show you. I know these are all kind of clanky, not it being attached. So then it goes, boop, now it closes, right? And then when you push this down, it unlocks it. So that's my brief scenario of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting up the door. We're going to start cutting up the door jamb over on this side and then see if we can get it to fit. The only biggest issue I'm thinking I'm going to have is that the window track, this window track right here, it runs to right about there. That's where the rivet is. Yeah, it runs right about here. So there's actually a rivet there and then 2 spot welds that hold the bottom of the window track in place. I may have to shave the head of the rivet off, drill out those 2 spot welds, and then kind of like how my GMC was, it just had 2 screws that held that all up against the panel, so that way you could unscrew it and you could actually move the window channel out of the way so you could get to the door locks or the door handle and stuff like that, because you needed it out of the way to get to it. Yeah, so the door handle should be here tomorrow. So today I'm just going to kind of focus on those 2 items and see if I can get the door to shut, because ever since I've owned this, which hasn't even been quite a year yet, but the doors have never shut. The other side doesn't even work. The lock or the door handle just flaps around. So I know that's broken in there, and this side was all completely locked up. But anyway, so like I said, this is after work. So I'm just trying to get a couple things done here, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. All right, guys, let me show you what we got here. So I had to put the latch in. I had to attach it to the plate before I put it in. If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to get that in because of that channel. I was right. Just like how it was hard to get the door out, handle out, it's the same thing. So I think I'm going to probably have to take out this rivet, and then there's two spot welds here. Yeah, here and right there. So if I that and then drill these out, I should be able to use like a sheet metal screw like the GMC was. So let me attach the latch back. I mean, I can reach it in here with no problem. It's just I can't get it out, right? Like I can't get it around that channel. Let's see here. Where are we? There we are, right there. Pretty close. There we go. I mean, if I never wanted that latch to come out again, I could probably not have to undo that. But I am not 100% sure yet. Because I still have to figure out the whole handle unlocking this situation. I couldn't find the screws either. So these are just 1/4 20s. There. And then right there. All right. So there it is. So let me put the striker in back in over there. So what I did find out, putting this in, I had to push this way back. I see a lot of people like having it over in this area. That didn't work for me. There we go. Okay, let me get a flashlight so I can show you the inside. There it is. All right, let me show you this. Okay, guys, so here this is, right here. And like I said, the window channel that runs here, if you see it, it's right there, actually. See the window channel right there? Right there? That's the problem. I can't get that latch out with that window channel there. So for now, I just kind of put a little hole right here just so I would have access to the switch right here. I'm still kind of on the fence on how I'm going to run the handle out here, because the handle's got to go like that and turn. It's a square peg, just like the original. So that's got to do one of these deals. So I'll have to probably make like a little arm to go from this handle down to that handle. So when you turn it, it'll push down. That makes sense. So you saw me cut it, but that's what was there before. Right about there. So this is where the original one, so I dropped it down, what, about 2 inches. But that used to be right there. Ta-da! And then this line right here is where the end of the panel, it was recessed. I kind of lost the recess right there and then picked up right there. This will be getting panels, so I'm not too worried about that. And then on this side, this side had a whole bunch of stuff. This side had this guy, which is the original latch. That was actually like that. It was all the way out to here, about to there is where it was. And then down below it had this little wedge thing. Where did that go? There it is. Yeah. So then it had this little wedge guy that was right about there. And then this was actually bolted. This is metal, by the way. This is actually bolted to a whole cage in the back. So I didn't want to lose the cage because that's pretty much a lot of strength right here. So what I did was I just kind of cut it along the fold line right there. And then I had to push this way back there. So most trucks, I guess, well, where I first had it was like right in this area, but it wasn't far enough back. So I put the plate in, and then I made a piece, welded it in here, and then right across here, I used that 1/4 or that 1/8 inch round bar that I used for the cage. When I say cage, I mean what I had for the engine hump that went down there. Just that round bar. So I welded up, there was a gap or a step right here, and then right here, right there. Looks like I still have to, well, it's solid through, but there's still like little welds there. And then on the inside, oh, sorry about that. And then on the inside, I just plated it right there. And behind here is still the original cage. Can you see it? You can see it a little bit right there. So there's the original cage. So that's it. So let me put you up here and I'll show you how it shuts. Alrighty guys, so we will shut the door. It's a little floppy, so it's a little noisy down here, as you can see. I gotta fix that. Woo, woo. So yeah, that whole bottom half is separating. But anyway, so we should be able to shut it. There it is. Hasn't shut like that since I've had it. So as you can see, I got the body lines lined up here and here. Not too shabby. It's got a good line all the way around. Here it's a little tight right where the hinge is. It is a little tight right, where is it? Right here. So it's tight right there. And it's tight right here in the front. So let me show you that again. So we're tight right here a little and right there. Right? So obviously I don't have a door handle in it, but I can reach inside and it opens right up. Not too shabby. That's it. So we got one door. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with one door until I get the door handle in and all that, because I do not want to take the driver's side door apart yet, because I'm going to kind of use that to put this one back together. So I know, right? That's kind of what I got. So that's going to be it for tonight. So we'll hit you up. Hopefully we'll have the door handle in and we'll figure that situation out. Maybe get that bottom fixed here. But yeah, we'll do it again. You just push down on that little lever and it opens up. All right, guys, until we're back on her. Good morning, guys. So I did what I'm working on is the doors, trying to get those to shut, because I need the door shut, not flapping all over the place if I actually want to just drive it out there, you know, to see if the brakes fully work, if it stops it, the transmission to go through the gears. Now we did have it up in the air, and I did put it in neutral, started it, and you know, with the freewheeling of the motor spinning the wheels, the brakes did stop it. And then I put it into drive, and the wheels spun the other way. I put the brake on, and it brakes it a little bit, right? Meaning like it doesn't fully grab out and stop instantly. Those shoes need to be worked in, because after that, I pulled the tire off and I pulled the drum off, and you can see where it's starting to wear in, if that makes sense. So it's got like, you know, you can see the contact points on the brake shoes versus the drums. So anyway, but we're on the doors. So these are the door handles that I got in. I really like them. They're from a 32 Ford, I guess, or whatever. These are uber inexpensive, and it has like a little, well, you can see it right there, a little lock mechanism. And then here's the piece that this slides into. That gets bolted to the door, and then you turn it like that, and it twists the whole thing. And then if you lock it, it locks into place. So the only thing that locks it into place is there's these little indentions. But there's always a but. But the problem is that this does not attach to this sleeve. So yeah, I could put this on the door like that. I could slide that through, but there's nothing that's actually holding this all together, so I can just pull the door handle out. That's a problem, right? Even if I were to figure out something, I'm gonna figure out something, because I really like the door handles. Even if I figured out the latching on the back part for the bear claw latches, it would still have that movement, whatever movement from the latch on the inside. That's no bueno. So I'm thinking, because once this is together, like as one unit, I can just slide that in, attach the 2 bolts, and it'll always stay in there, right? So I'm thinking I may either drill a hole right close to the backing here, and then put a pin in it, you know, one of those pins, I think it's called a sleeve pin. I know Ace has them because Ace has all this weird stuff. Or what I'll do is I'll put a groove in the top and put a groove in the bottom, and then use a clip, like a horseshoe clip, that'll clip that in. So I kind of have options there. But what I want to do today, as you can see, let's see, I did hook up at, well, the last part of the video, I hooked up just a coat hanger on the inside to shut it, right? And then to open it, you push down and it opens. So I'm very excited about that. So the door does shut. Obviously it's a little wobbly because this door skin along the front is not really attached. I got to figure all that out. So what I'm doing is, let me put this over there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take the other door apart, the driver's side door. As you can see, I have the glass up. I started taking the parts, bits and bobs off. And to get the door handles off, they actually have, let me show you, see those holes? They have a pin. So the pin, you have to drive out the pin. This one's kind of mangled up. This is the pin that came out. I think it's just a nail. Yeah, it just looks like a nail they used. Hold on, let me get something better. So that's the pin that came out of not the inside door handle, but the window crank, right? So you just kind of pop that out, and then you just pull off the handle, and then this retaining. Eventually, I'll have everything in my hands. And then it has this little spring-loaded garnishing, whatever, but it's spring-loaded like that. I think I showed it when I was cleaning all the parts in the solution stuff, but that's how that all works. So yeah, so I'm just over there on the other side, and I just started taking the panels apart. I have not broken off a screw yet, knock on wood. It's a lot of just spraying and then kind of working it all, but everything, all the hardware is coming loose. Okay? So that's what I'm working on. So I'm going to set the door handles over there for now, because the rod that comes through about here. Yeah, okay, this is kind of hard to show you here, but I am going to. So what I did was I took a drill bit and I drilled straight through here, all the way through, so I know where that the rod would come through for the door handle. And it seems to be right there is where it's coming through. So that's super close to the latch. So there's no way that I could come down here, you know, without making a mess. So probably I'll have to come through, then I'll have to make a little arm off the door handle, right? And then from there, attach to this lower piece. Now this is just a 1032 bolt in there with some washers, just to extend it out. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the other door apart, like I've been saying, so I can figure out what was supposed to go here, because I don't see anything that would go here, and I don't remember what I took off here. It just feels like, I don't know, there's no track there. The window motor or the window regulator only has these bolts right here that hold that, and then there's two little like antenna deals that come up, and they have little rollers in it, and that's what rolls the window up and down, right? This one, the passenger side one, the handle guy, it was lodged up, so I actually had to cut the handle off, so it makes this regulator unusable. For some reason, I'm trying to find regulators for 38 to 47 Ford pickup truck, because this is basically Ford pickup truck stuff. The only difference is the door's a little different. But they're very hard to find. Like, you can't find anything new. So from 48 to 51 or 52, you can find the regulators, you can find the transitions for the door locks and stuff like that. But for some reason, 38 to 47, you can't seem to find anything for window stuff. I did find a set of used ones. You buy them in a pair, a set, I guess, off from eBay, and those are like almost $400. So at that point, I'm looking at power windows. The power windows assemblies are around $300, so you save about $100. And it's for a Ford flat window truck is what it is. And it'll have, like, you know, however you want to do to mechanize it, to roll up and down. But I have a feeling that that's probably the route I'm going to go, because one, it's a little cheaper, and two, it's a little cheaper. Right. And what I've seen is it just kind of like bolts right here, and then there's the regulator that goes like that, and it just kind of moves the window up and down, right? It's flat glass, so it's not like it's a big deal as far as that goes. This is going to get all paneled up here, and I have a feeling I'm probably going to make like a little panel down here, just because it's kind of cool, and plus it'll cover up the holes that's going on here. I do have to, I misjudged putting the hole here. I'm going to have to move this over a little bit, because it does hit a little going up and down, because the transition here, now I still want to use the one that I had here, but it's locked up, right? So it's very basic, just on off kind of deal. And that bolts back up here, behind it, obviously. And then this will come down and go right to there. So when I turn it, let's see, is it this way? If I turn it this way, it'll transition it down, and it'll push down on that, which will open the door. It doesn't require a lot of force to open this. I love, these are the cheapy ones that I got, but they work perfectly. And I am finding out that I will probably have to cut that little head off the rivet and those two spot welds if I can find them, because I've been grinding on this and trying to find those spot welds. It's starting to get a little difficult, but that will be my pin for that. So I may have to just cut this section like that, so I can see where those spot welds are. And then there's a spot weld up here, and then just kind of drill that out, just like I did with the GMC when I had to redo the one track, and then that'll come out, and that'll be that. Okay, so you know what, but honestly, I enjoyed this kind of stuff way better than the motor stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying not to be a Debbie Downer about the mechanicals of that all stuff, but I'm glad it's done. I'm glad that's done, and it fires right up. Obviously, I'm welding on the vehicle, so I did disconnect the battery. I don't know, it's just a safe practice. Sometimes you can short something. I don't have any computers on this thing or anything, but you know, the distributor is electronic. It's just good practice that if you're ever going to weld on something, a vehicle, disconnect the battery. Okay, so I'm trying to find my little magnet deal that I stick my phone to, which I cannot find, obviously, or else it would be already over there. Let me show you what I got going on the other door. All right, so here is the other door. So this window, if that other window regulator wasn't broke here, I could probably refurbish these and reuse them, because it does roll down, up and down. It does, trust me. It's just that it's kind of wedged up here. So I got all these bolts loose. These ones are all loose. And then these two right here are loose. So it's all loose. And then the handle should come off. Yeah, just like that. And that's, where is it? There's a pin there, or the pinhole that I was talking about. Yeah, right there. So that's the pin that goes through there. So that's what I'm working on. I'm going to take this door apart, get the glass out, and then work on getting this stuff all out and then yeah, and then put a door, the door latch bear claw in on this side, and then do it all on this side. So it's going to be just like the other side. So let me set you up here as best I can, and let's get into this. Okay guys, so if you don't know, the best thing to do with these older bolts or older screws and stuff, because they're flathead, a little bit of PB blaster, sometimes you got to heat them up a little bit, but when you use your screwdriver, definitely use that feature of the screwdriver, because that right there, try to do this at an angle here. I mean, these are already loose, but I'm just going to show you. But if you go like that and turn it, that gives you more torque to take the bolts out. All right, so let's start taking this stuff apart. So these would be perfect candidates for the solution. Yeah, this would clean up so nice and still be usable with some grease up in there. If I can find one more of those for the passenger side, I would totally reuse these, just so you know. So let me go put this over there. But yeah, so basically you have to put the window all the way up, take the screws out, drop the regulator out, down, drop it down, and then you just kind of wedge these off that long track. Like you saw me do, take one side off, and then you can turn it and then take the other side off. These were kind of rusted on there, so it took a little bit, but this one's actually still rusted up. But I'm telling you, that solution. Okay. So the biggest problem I had on that side was the rod that comes through for the door handle. It was actually part of the lock, meaning that it was solid. But it looks like if I were to just take these bolts off, because this still works, like this still does its transition thing. So I'd like to save this like I'm trying to save the other one, but it looks, there's a rod that runs right here, and then it clips or just pushes into the whole latch. So this right here, these two screws, I won't need them after I'm done, because this part, these two right here, holds the whole latch assembly. It's huge in there. So let me get these bolts out. Okay. So the transition here does have it has a clip that I can't get to. Plus it's all rusted up, solid on there. The outside door handle, I cannot get these two screws out. They're just ripping. If that makes sense. So I'm going to have to drill these out. That just like I did on the other side. It's okay. It's okay. Wow. The door handle came right out. The other side, it did not do that. I had to get in there with a plasma cutter, cut the rod. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Jeez. I wish the other one came out. I would still use these. This side, way easier. It probably took me, well, 2 days. 2 days to get that one apart. There it is. Yep. That's awesome. But that's what I'm saying. Right there, it's got this little, it's got these little tabs, and that's what holds that in. But this whole handle assembly still works. Okay, I see why it still works. Because the teeth are missing. Oh no, that's how it's supposed to be. It's only, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know if you can see that, but you see that little tooth right there? See that? That's what kind of keeps it from when you open it. Anyway, this door is stripped. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so the door's stripped. So I'm going to do this real quick. I showed you how I did the passenger side. So instead of running out the video wicked long here, I'm just gonna do this side real quick, get it caught up to the other side. And then we will be back after I get that all straightened out. Well, guys, the door shuts. I actually have like a little, I just have like a little coat hanger like the other side. But yeah, just like that. So let me swap you around here. This door was kind of a bear, but let me show you. All right, guys, so there's that one. I already showed you that, but I got the piece metal welded in here. I still have to, I got that part I gotta fill up somehow, because the cab metal is actually a little thinner than the plate. But there's that side, and then this side over here. So I have right here where when I was cutting it this way, I went into here, so I got to weld that up. I already welded this one up, but I got to weld this up and that one up. And like I was saying, I did drill out the spot welds, popped the rivet off, and then there was another spot weld down here. So I drilled that out, drilled these out, tried to move the window channel out of the way. It wasn't moving. I have no idea what else is over here. You can't really see it from inside through there because of how the door is stepped. So you know what? Yeah, it works. I got the little button heads, quarter 20s that was supposed to go here. Yeah, but and there it is. Body line's really not that bad at all on both sides. It's a little tight right here, but that's because it's got a big old whammy right there. So it's kind of like pushed everything that way. But let me put you up on the stand here and I'll show you. So just like the other side, you push that little guy down, opens right up, shuts easy. I'll take that as a win. So let me see about these door handles, if I can get those to work, and we'll be back with that once I figure out how I'm going to attach that whole body together. So we'll be back. All right, guys. So I don't think I'll be able to use those really cool door handles that I got because I can't keep the body on the actual handle, right? But the driver's side one came off on this, and it's still in good working order. So I know I can modify this on the end with like maybe drill and tap it or weld something to it so it'll come extend through and then have a little lever that goes down to the actual bear claw latch. But it's getting really late. When I say really late, it's like 7, quarter after 7 this evening. So before I get into all that, I'm just going to set this down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of the evening and clean out the inside of the truck. you know, all the metal shavings that I've had over the last couple of days, everything like that. Because there was two things that I wanted to get done. One was get the bear claw latches in. They're in. Doors are open and shutting now. I did have to put a little spring. I'll show you. So what I did was I just for now, but if you see right there, I just put a little spring on there to keep this up. And that is an original hole for the latch that went like right here, right? So that's just a 1/4 holding out, holding the spring, so it keeps this little lever up, and that's good for now. So I'm going to clean out the inside, because the other thing I wanted to do was get the battery situated behind the cab. So either tomorrow I'll be working on the battery, getting that all placed up, and I'm not using this really big battery, but it's one I have right now. So I know the width of the red top, I know the width of this, but this can at least go in there and have the cables ran to hook up, and then I can swap it out. So it's either one or the other one tomorrow. Do the door latch thing or do the battery. So until tomorrow. Well, good morning, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually work on the outside door handle on the driver's side to at least get that to open with the handle, right? I will have to cut into the door panel again to be able to attach, make an arm off, and then goes down to the switch, the bear claw latch. So when you turn it, it releases it and opens it up. So I did take apart the, hold on. So I did take apart the driver's side latch, inside latch. So this length right here is actually the perfect length. The only thing is I want this to run on the outside of the door instead of inside the door. It'd be easier to attach that to the actual bear claw mechanism. But what we're going to work on is just basically the outside door handle, because I do have a few things that wifey wants me to take care of around the house. So and you know what, she puts up with me doing this stuff almost every weekend. I can take a day and do her stuff that she wants done. So I'll show you on this side, because that side is a little cramped. So right here, so right there, obviously I had to drill out the screws, but I set two 1032s in there, rib nuts. So when the handle does come in, it'll bolt right to it, and that's it. So that's the only thing I've done this morning, besides run to Ace and got a bunch of 1032 lock nuts and bolts and stuff like that, because I'm gonna probably have to be doing a lot of that. But I'll put you over here, and then we'll get started on this part. So here we are. So the piece, the door handle that comes through, let me see if I can feel it in here, will come through about here, and I need the arm to come to there to hit this button. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of open this part up right here. I'm going to save that piece. Well, actually, I can't weld it back in because I need to have access to that. Okay, so either way, what we're going to do is we're going to open this up a little bit right here, and then that way I can put the rod on the door handle, and then it'll come down onto here. I kind of like this idea right here of the little spring guy. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm just going to have a shorter bolt, but just know that that's what I'm going to do here. So let's let's start marking things out and cutting it up. Okay guys, so the door handle goes in like this, and this will get welded to the end like that, and that should be about here, and then I'm just gonna run right there, I hope. So let's get this cleaned up and let's get this welded on, and yeah, and there we go. So when you feed it in, you kind of have to feed it up and then put it down, because there is that window track right here. So that'll be good. Okay, let me let this cool down for a second, and then I have to put this in, mark it for that guy to be able to bing. See how that's gonna work? Okay, so the door handle is back in. Like I said, those quarter 20 or 1032s, I went 1032 instead of 1024 because I had 1032 rib nuts. So there it is, right there. See that? So that'll attach to this. So I got to make a rod that goes from here to here. Okay. So let me get this off. Undo this. And I did get nylocks for this to lock it into place, right? Okay. Okay. So as I'm looking at this part right here, this part should actually be up there, not down here, because that's too close. So probably what we'll be doing here, besides making this a little nicer of a piece, you know, I'm probably just gonna, and then right down here, so that way it'll have a nice, I won't have to worry about trying to get it to back here. I mean, the door panel's already all kind of cut up already. So, yeah. So let's do that. So I'm going to go here and then around, because I'm going to leave that. And then go like that. Like that. And then I'm going to clean this up, obviously, right here. All through here. So since I can't get this door latch out at all, ever, well, I could. It's just take a lot of finagle dangle to get it out because of this right here. If this wasn't here, it could drop right down. But that is there. So what I'll do is I'll just trim this down and then follow this and go around here. I wish my air saw was working. It'd be a better cut, but it is not. Okay. Well, it works. It's just that it's really crappy. Put that on the need to get list. So I have to trim this out to wrap around there because I wanted to leave this here. So let me. right, guys, so we've got a nylock on the back to hold this in place, just off enough where it'll rotate. I'll probably have to get a bushing for here, but you need to kind of like mock things up to see how you can improve in it better, right? And then this one right here, same way, nylock. This spring is a little too tight for this. I mean, it works, but there we go. So let me kind of set you over here, see if I can move this around. Just like that. Perfect. I wish I had the other door handle. But yeah, so I would mark that as opening and closing for the driver's side. We'll be back. All right, guys, so I'm going to leave that other door on the inside. I'm going to leave that for another time because there's some geometry in there, but I wanted to do two things this weekend. One, get the doors to open and close. They are. And the second thing is route the battery. So let me show you what I did here, and then we'll fire it up and make sure that it still runs, and then go from there. All right, guys, so we'll open the door. And then for now, this battery is in place. So what I did do underneath is I put the sound deadening stuff just underneath where this is. Just so it gives a little bit of cushion from the metal. So it's like big difference. So my hot wire was long enough to reach up here, but my ground wire was not. So what I did was I just drilled a hole and then put a 3/8 bolt through. So this one goes to the starter, you know, the block, and then this one will come over to here, right there. So if everything goes okay, this should just go right on without a spark. Okay, like that. So we'll just kind of tighten it down, tighten that one down. I got all the tools out of the way, so I'm going to set you up over here. So we will set you up over here. Now, this side, when it backfired last week, and it blew out that gasket down there. So I put in another gasket. I'm not 100% sure that's going to be right as rain. So I may have to revisit this exhaust manifold and pipe down. Something a little bit more reliable where I'm not like, oh boy, I hope this doesn't blow out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the microphone down because when I'm in there and starting it, it's just way too loud, especially if the belt for the alternator starts going. So yeah. But I will set you right here, right there, and right there. So I'm going to set the microphone down. Now I'm going to go start it, hopefully. So I definitely hear that exhaust leak. So I'm gonna have to visit that one. But I think that's right as rain. So I did notice that the gas gauge is reading 0. So I'm probably gonna have to swap out gauges to something better. That was a gamble on those ones. So I may be redoing those. Let me show you real quick in there. The best. See if you look, the gas gauge is reading 0. And I don't think it's supposed to be 0. Anyway, so, and the tachometer is off a little, like a lot. But the best part, oh yeah. So, successful weekend as far as the doors go, and relocation of the battery up in there. Everything is good. Let me shut this down and then we'll talk about it. All right, guys. Again, successful weekend. I'm going to wrap that up there. Like we got the bear claws in. There was one night throughout the week that I did to do that. So actually 3 days. But that was only a couple hours after work. So that's not bad. So like I said, I'm going to revisit this whole inside door handle thing. Because there's some geometry here, and there's actually a company out there that sells little bits and bobs for bear claw latches, like the inside transitions and stuff like that. I may purchase those. They're kind of expensive. They're like $80 for these pieces. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet, but I think we're coming right along with this baby. So anyway, I appreciate you coming in here and seeing me do some bear claw latches, some generic cheapy ones instead of like the Altman latches or whatever. Hey, go on and build something cool, guys. One weekend at a time. Catch you on the next one. Later.